Well, I didn't make a video yesterday, which was quite unusual because usually that's over the weekends, but the reason for it is that I wanted to took out my camera right in this very spot, and that's when I realized I didn't take it. For the first time I reached my pocket. I was like, oh shoot, I don't have it. I did have my harness, I did have my straps and everything, and the chest mount, but I forgot the camera. So yeah, yesterday I didn't capture anything, and you know, I wasn't going back to get the camera. You know, that would be like, I don't know, 10 extra minutes or something, and I was just like, you know what, let's take a little bit of a sabbatical from the capturing, and that's what happened yesterday. So took it today, but there's a very low battery. I thought it's higher. I thought it's like over 40. It's actually 37, but hopefully it's gonna last, because this part of the walk or this route that we take is shorter, so hopefully it should be more than enough to last until the end. And yeah, that's all. Pretty gloomy today. Yesterday was beautiful. It was a very sunny, beautiful morning. Today is somewhat gloomy, but we are in a second day of an actual astronomical spring. So no longer winter, although right now it kind of feels again wintry, but you know, the trees and shrubs, they're starting to bloom, and yeah, it clearly is a spring. And now actual astronomical one too. So I think Drake found something. Drake'u, poď, nech to. Poď. Good boy. So yeah, today is the second day of actual astronomical spring, and the first video I'm doing for the spring playlist. Normally it would be the yesterday one, but you know, yeah, forgot my camera. And I'm not sure if you noticed, but they swept, I don't know what it's called, but they drove with a tractor in some sort of an extension over the meadows. And at first I thought they're mowing it, which was weird because it didn't grow yet, but they were actually sort of evening out the surface of the meadow, because you know there are loads of spots like these that get very turned over by boars, by deer and other animals. So they drove over it, and to even it out, and prepare it for spring, so that it can grow evenly, and then they can harvest the grass and harvest the the grass for livestock. So they kind of even the surface, so it's all kind of sort of cultivated now, or yeah, it looks like it a little bit. I don't think they did it here though. It looks no, they didn't reach this part yet, but they did the other part yesterday. I saw them from the living room. Yeah, so that's that. And yeah, and I've got my napkin. Christ, when I was listening to the previous video, the one I made 2 days ago, I was absolutely terrified. I was like, oh my god, I sniffed so much, and it really annoyed the hell out of me. Probably not even, I don't know, because I was like, didn't you hear it, man? You know? Didn't you hear it? God damn it. It was like a sniff every third second. But that's the thing, I don't hear it, you know? When it's I don't know, when my nose is congested and probably I'm thinking about something else, and talking about something, I completely oblivious to the fact that I'm sniffing all the time. It's like invisible for me, and I do it. So yeah, I was quite annoyed, but yeah, I'm carrying the napkin again, and I'm gonna try and put a new one every now and then, so that I always have a napkin with me, because I just hate that sniffing thing, you know. I really do. It annoys the hell out of me, and yeah, I just don't want to do it, you know. I like ever, honestly. I mean, if I'm alone and walking somewhere, then like, who cares, right? But if someone potentially has to listen to it or wants to listen to it, then I don't want that to be in there, you know. And I wouldn't want to be sniffing all the time if I would be walking with someone and that person would have to listen to it. I just don't want that for that person, you know, because it's annoying, at least to me, and I think to a lot of people too. So yeah, I'll work on it as much as I can to prevent it. Also, it's winter, you know. I mean, now we said that not anymore, but still it's kind of cold, and these mornings when they're cold and sort of very humid, that's just what happens. My nose is like it reacts very quickly and very very strongly to conditions like these, and it immediately starts to, you know, drip and starts to be congested due to these conditions. So once it gets warmer and it will be like the spring will progress and it will get to summer, it's not gonna be happening, because, you know, the air is much drier, it's warm. So, you know, my nose is not dripping at home. So you know, it's also kind of a winter thing. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna try and work on it as much as I can, because yeah, it annoys me. Anyway, we're hearing very nicely the chiffchaff. Tip top, tip top, chiffchaff, chiffchaff. So that's a chiffchaff. Talked about it in the previous video, and heard it for the first time in the previous video. So Germans, as far as I know, they say zilp, 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 zilp. So there's a lot of variations on chiffchaff and its name and its sound that it's making. It's like, you know, it's like a barking from dog. You know, like English speakers say woof woof, right? I think we in Czech we have huff huff, you know, and so on and so forth. So same with chiffchaff, you know. Although interestingly enough, Czech name for chiffchaff is not. Oh man, and I forgot the word again. It's onomatopoeic. Jesus, I don't know. But the one that I mentioned last time, I'm gonna put in the subtitles. Onomatopoeic. Oh God, it's a tongue twister. So it's not the name for that bird in Czech. Yeah, we're hearing it really nicely right now. Yeah, so that's the chiffchaff, and the name in Czech is actually different than, for instance, in English. Chiffchaff. It's budníček, which is like in a very direct translation, would be like a very small, tiny compartment. Yeah, because budník would be like a larger one, and budníček is like a small one, very tiny one. Yeah, the reason for that name is because it creates a tiny nest. It's a ground nester, as I mentioned, and its nests are not the classic open ball type. but it's kind of similar to the wren in a way that it's like a closed, like a cocoon of sorts with a front opening, and it has like a ceiling, and it's like a closed sort of nest, and so it does resemble like a small compartment, and therefore the name Budniček, a small compartment. So that's quite interesting. And yeah, that's the chiffchaff, Philoscopus colibita. And we're also hearing that high-pitched, somewhat similar to wren. That is our dunnock, the one I've covered 2 videos on about its fascinating breeding habits, because it has an incredible a sex life, so to speak. So that was a dunnock, and you can check the video in one of the in the winter playlist. It's there. It's like I think I did that video about 3-4 days ago. And this is a chiffchaff. Chiffchaff. Yep. So so that's that. And the name Philoscopus colibita, the Latin name for chiffchaff, is Philoscopus is actually, like in direct translation, is like a leaf. Philos, I think it's philos probably. It's a leaf, and scopus is like like scoping, like checking and inspecting and so on and so forth. And it comes from the fact that chiffchaffs and these type and warblers in its is it genus, I think, like a willow warbler and so on, they're all Philoscopus. And it's for the reason and for the fact that they are very often foraging in a way that they're like hovering in the air, and they're like jumping from leaf to leaf, from branch to branch, and they're looking under the leaves and foraging like various like spiders and small bugs and all that. So that's the Philoscopus. That's where this name comes from. That's what I remember that I've learned a couple of years back. So that's where that name comes from. And a lot of the Latin names actually have that kind of meaning. We talk about Fringilla calyps, and now calyps in direct translation means something close to well, in Czech it says that it's close to widower, but it's like a male that is being left behind by a female or something like that. So that's where the cold calyps Latin name comes from. And you have tons of things like that. When you actually look at the Latin name, it's not just a bunch of Latin words together. They have actually some deeper meaning, and you can actually sort of figure out how they were created and what do they mean. I'm thinking about something else, but I cannot really think of any similar. Yeah, like as I said, Fringilla calyps and so on and so forth. Yellowhammer is Emberiza citrinella. Well, citrinella might most likely because how yellow it is, right? The yellowhammer. And I don't know what Emberiza means, but citrinella, that's, just the name, strikes you with a image of a lemon, and it does look like a little yellow lemon because it's very, very yellow. So there are things like that in these Latin names. And yeah. And that's a chicken. Someone has chickens like right by the edge of the forest here. Must be quite challenging, by the way, because there must be tons of martens and other predators ready to take your chicken. So yeah, I mean, we have a advantage that our coop is, you know, kind of out in the open and across the road, so it's kind of harder for the predators to get in. But you know, I got it well secured with automatic door and all that, you know, sorted out. So I never, well, I had once a predator attack, or twice actually, before I set up a net over the run, and it was an attack by a goshawk. Yeah, but fortunately unsuccessful. Unfortunately for the goshawk, but fortunately for my hens and for me. So yeah, a goshawk attacked. So that's when I decided to put a netting in there to prevent that from happening. But other than that, there was fortunately no predator attack, no chicken killed ever since I have chickens, which is since 2020. So that's great. That's great. And with that, I'm going to sign off.